Hey guys, Zito here, bringing you an Ascension round 62 first room world record. And this game has been a long time coming because I first played it in the summer. I had about a 24-hour game until I died because of tabbing out, getting into pause, really dumbed down. But I decided to play it again, and here we are, 62. And I'm happy with the round because if you didn't know the context for this record, for this game, it was a three-way tie between Franchu, Tester, and AEU Slow. And my game had the blind chance of beating it, so I'm happy that I was able to lift the curse somehow. So a bit about the game, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Ascension is a really boring, tedious map. You're basically limited to two bleed out strats, one of which I ran for the majority of the game, the safer one I'll show below. This does lead to more bleed outs than the second one, but again, it's safe. Now the second one is the strat that I believe most people should run the entire game. It basically has no bleed outs, almost. I can count the number of bleed outs I had throughout the entire rest of the game that I ran this strat on both hands, is how good it was, how efficient it was in preventing bleed out. Because if you didn't know, Black Ops 1 bleed outs do not count towards the kills for ending the round. So whatever damage you do to the zombie that bleeds out, you basically have to do all over again. And so that's a huge time sink. You're getting many bleed outs. So I ended up running this strat somewhere around 58 or 59. But what made it so much more frustrating to run was the fact that I encountered the sound bug in Ascension. It's a common bug that Zomba and maybe someone else has encountered. I know Zomba's encountered it. In my case, I lost all sounds except for ambience, drops, and the centrifuge. So basically the most useless sounds. I get no information from these sounds. I can't hear zombies walking, spawning, dropping. So this led to some pretty funny downs. I basically downed in the same place for all three downs. I'll show them here in succession. But yeah, had I had sound, probably wouldn't have downed as many times. Probably would have been far more preventable. I think in most people's cases, they shouldn't run into an issue running this strat, especially if they have zombie sounds. You can hear them spawning, things like that. Just a thing to look out for. Statistically, I'm not going to go too deep into it. I'll leave all the centrifuge averages and the round times in the description, but I thought my centrifuge average was really good for this game. I had a good run of rounds in the late 50s. 60, 61 as well, where I didn't miss a centrifuge round, and I had multiple in each of them. And at least for the entire game, I had very little missed centrifuge rounds. Obviously, my centrifuges weren't as godly as someone like Tester and his run. I mean, that run was fucking crazy. Talk about 12 centrifuges on round 58. I mean, crazy hard to replicate something like that. But I'm happy for my standards and what I got in my run. On the flip side, my drops were terrible, in my opinion. I had so many rounds in the 50s, especially after I got Quick Revive. If you didn't know, buying Quick Revive enables death machines, so that's an extra drop in your drop cycle that you have to get to, leading to overall less instas and nukes in the entire game. I had multiple rounds where I only had 2 or 3 drops. That's 2 less drops multiple times throughout the entire game. That led to even more less instas and less nukes overall, which is pretty detrimental to your Ascension game, because that's the biggest time save, you know, the nukes and the instas. Those are the things that are going to save you the most time, as opposed to good centrifuge luck. And that's what cost me dearly in the later 50s. But I'm recommending, if anyone wants to try to beat it, consider playing no Quick Revive longer than I did. Maybe you could probably play it till 60. I wouldn't wish that on anyone, but like, it's something to consider if you want to optimize it, because again, you get no death machines, more overall instas throughout the entire game. Also, run the second bleed strat, no bleed strat earlier, because you'll get far less bleeds and it'll be faster. In the earlier rounds, it'll be frustrating because you might get some shitty spawns, but if you can get a game going, it's going to be so much more worth it in the long run. On a final note, before signing out, I'd like to credit some people Waffler and Tonestone for basically being my two beacons of knowledge when it comes to finding out new strats or inquiring about already existing information, especially when I was first starting first rooms. These were the two most helpful people, as well as the previous record holders and players of this category for their contributions. And yeah, that's about it from me. See ya.